What happened to him?
He became so powerful. The only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew. Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Welcome to another installment of the Who Was More Powerful series. In this episode, we will dive into the powers, fighting style, physical abilities, and psychological traits that pertain to each character, coming to a final conclusion of who was more powerful. Darth Plagueis the Wise and his apprentice, Darth Sidious, also known as Emperor Palpatine. As we see in the Revenge of the Sith during the opera scene, Palpatine reveals to Anakin the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise, who was his former master. I'll briefly explain the backstory to their relationship, and then we'll get on with this video. Near Palpatine's completion of his training from Plagueis, he was to be elected as Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Republic. After the opera performance they attended, the two retired to Plagueis' penthouse in the Kaldani Spires building to celebrate Palpatine's upcoming success. Here is where Palpatine got his master so intoxicated that when he passed out, he fired his most powerful Force lightning upon Plagueis, killing him, to our knowledge at least. Now, I'm going to state right here that Palpatine knew he had no chance against his master unless he had an advantage, and that was to get him extremely drunk. Let's start with Plagueis and his abilities. Darth Plagueis was extremely gifted with the Force. He possessed the ability to manipulate the Force, on top of being able to create new life from midichlorians. He was able to retain one's identity after death. This meant he could become a Force ghost. However, this didn't interest him since his primary focus, and the sole focus of the Sith in general, was that the living realm was more important, not the other one. He also had the ability to essence transfer, a skill he learned from his master, who was named Darth Tenebris, a crazy Sith Lord scientist that had created a poison that could cut a Jedi's connection to the Force. However, the most powerful of Plagueis' Force powers was his ability to see into the future. In a video where I talk more about Plagueis, I'll explain how during the Phantom Menace, he saw Anakin board Qui-Gon's ship and reached out to him using the Force, generating visions of Vader rising from a tilting bed, and felt his authoritative control over the fate of the galaxy. This leads me to wonder, maybe Plagueis saw Palpatine killing him as a premonition and faked his death. Plagueis was also very skilled in lightsaber combat, and particularly speed. He was said to move as fast as a lightning bolt. We should keep this in mind for our analysis at the end. Now, let's examine Emperor Palpatine. Palpatine was noted as the best lightsaber duelist in the galaxy. Having mastered all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, he was versed with literally every single style that there was. Just to let you know a bit about his personality, he thought lightsabers were a joke, so he mainly used them as a tool, and when he didn't, he just hung it from his cloak to mock the Jedi. His lightsaber techniques equipped him well, with never failing to be bested by an opponent who used a form that he didn't, as he would just switch to the superior form of that one and use it in conjunction with his unrivaled Force abilities to inevitably annihilate his prey. However, when he didn't use his lightsaber, this was when he was the most dangerous. He would use his gifted Force abilities, namely telekinesis, Force illusion, and of course, Force lightning. In the comics, so in Legends, he did have one more power that many aren't aware of, just to name it as a bonus fact. And that is that he could bend space to create a wormhole to throw people or even starfleets into. Sidious was also the only Force user in the galaxy to give Yoda a run for his money. While the duel ended in a stalemate due to their surroundings, in the novelization, Yoda did admit to failing, forcing him to retreat. So, who was stronger in the end? If they were to fight when Plagueis wasn't drunk, I would have to say Plagueis is more powerful. He was the one who made Palpatine who really is, taught him everything he knew, and helped him unlock his powers to their potential. In my opinion, I think Plagueis is still alive today. With his ability to conjure Force illusions, see into the future, and his lightning speed faster than the eye can see, I believe he would have tricked Sidious into believing he was dead, and then bolting out of the room to seek solitude in the shadows. He was smarter, more experienced, and more powerful with his abilities from what we know. It is a very close call here, so I'd like to know what your thoughts are. That's the most important opinion. Are you Team Plagueis or are you Team Sidious, and why? Remember, it's important to get a full idea of a character's fighting psychology as well as his powers and style, then examine how he would defeat an opponent or wouldn't. Thank you so much for watching this episode, everyone. I really appreciate all of your support. Let me know your thoughts on this, and I'm hoping to see all of your suggestions in the comments below. After all, this channel was built by all of us, not just me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember,
The Force will be with you, always.